Welcome back. My name is Dulio. I got my co-host here, Luis,
What's up?
and today we got Kevin Perdomo.
What up?
So, Kevin, you're a insurance agent.
Yeah, man, I am an insurance agent for Missouri Farm Bureau.
Okay. So I've been pretty excited about this, and I was telling you, Luis, and Kevin, you've been excited to come on, cause
Man, ever since you told me, I've been excited about that.
yeah, cause
Yeah.
so there's this. I was telling you beforehand. When it comes to insurance, anytime whether it's car or like the house, it's like, give me the cheapest thing,
Yeah.
It's like, what's the cheapest I can pay a month, and it's kind of not, it's probably not very good.
Well, honestly, it just kind of, really depends. But yeah, insurance is one of those things that you don't want to be cheap on, I guess I would say. You get what you pay for kind of thing. But being able to explain coverages to people and what it means, I think at that point lets you decide like, oh yeah, maybe I do need that kind of coverage, and makes it easier for you to understand and stuff. So
Yeah. So do. So what do you like? What's your job like? What like?
I mean, essentially, I have just people looking to, get coverage on their cars or their houses, and then we can look at, if you need to schedule certain things like jewelry. Some people have like furs and other kind of extra
Really?
stuff that they want to insure.
Can you insure like guns?
Yeah,
and stuff?
guns, of course. That's a big one around here.
I was
Everybody's
about
got
to
their
say.
guns and stuff like that.
So,
You
so
know,
let's I don't mean to interrupt, but let's provide some context. Your Missouri Farm Bureau.
yeah, Missouri Farm Bureau.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been with them?
I've been with them 3 years, man, already. May 2nd was my 3-year anniversary with them. So, been doing this for a little bit. Before this, I just had kind of done, some sales experience. And the way I kind of got into insurance, previously I had thought about, looking for more of like a professional type of job. And I was looking around through Indeed one day, and I just kind of was like, hey, I'll try that, see how it goes. And sure enough, a couple days later, I get a phone call from, one of the recruiters. They're like, hey, we looked up your resume. It looks good. You're bilingual. We really want to see what you can do. And so I went in there and met with them. My interview went well with them. So then like, hey, we're going to send you to Jeff City and see how this goes with our bigwigs. Because this company, man, I had heard of Missouri Farm Bureau, but they're pretty big, and so I go up there thinking I'm just going to have a little meeting with somebody. Nah, man, they put me in there with like their state sales, manager, and then like one of like the big wigs of the company. And it's like, it's very like everybody knows you, family type kind of thing.
Oh,
It's
really?
not like you just call the 1-800 number and talk to a call rep person. Like everybody's together and they know you. And so I went in there, had my interview with them, and they were like, hey, yeah, we like how you're projecting your plans to work. And because I had to go in there, they're like, hey, we want you to have a business plan drawn up, like of how you're going to be trying to get clients in. And like
Beforehand?
Beforehand. They're like, hey,
Okay.
when you come to this meeting, you need to have a business plan set up, like something ready to explain to our bigwigs, like how you think you're going to build your business.
Yeah.
And so I went in there, and I told them kind of what my marketing ideas would be, who I would kind of target. And then, they're like, hey, yeah, we like your ideas. Let's see how it goes. I went to training for a month, which before this, I got hired, but I had to have my licenses to be an insurance agent. So, like, aside from getting the job, I got, actually called in, like, March. And I went in there. They're like, hey, you need to have your property and casualty license and then life and health insurance license. I'm like, okay. And
Are these like online tests, or like are these like
so
a certain course you have to take?
Yeah, there's definitely a course. Like it's something that you have to like. You pay $50 to go in there and take the test, and you get these books. And I mean, they're pretty thick books. But you go in there, you study it, and you go in there and take it's like 170 question tests for both property and health and life and insurance stuff. And then you went in there to take the test. You have to actually schedule it online. You go to like Missouri Southern or like, because you can't just like take it online. You have to go into this place. You can't use any phones, nothing like that. It's all kind of blocked off. You go in there, take your test. But yeah, I went in there and did that, got the job, and then went to training for a month, which that was pretty intense, learning like all the types of coverages that we have, the types of buildings, insurance wise is like everything's about risk. So you have to like learn how the house is built, or like what kind of coverages you would need to have for, you know, certain types of clients and stuff like that. Some people have farm stuff, and before this I really didn't do anything with farms, you know.
Yeah.
So for me to come in here and have to worry about like insuring all the farms, I really had to learn about, you know, what's what, how it works, cost of things, because they change kind of with their market and stuff, like price of cows, calves, and bulls, and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, man, that's how that started. I did that, and then now it just kind of it's taken off, you know.
Nice.
So now you have your own, what would you call it, like an agency?
Yeah. So I am a captive agent for Missouri Farm Bureau, but yeah, it's the Kevin Perdomo Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance.
See, that's awesome.
Man,
That's pretty badass.
Man, you better get a raise after this.
You know,
been
you got your
promoted in
name
pretty
on the
good.
building.
Dude, yeah, I mean, you got the name on the door, you know, you got,
Yeah.
you know, when people look you up on Google or something like that, you know, your name pops up. So that's really cool. And then home office will kind of have our business page on Facebook too, and they run that and post different ads and stuff. But yeah, man, you're kind of like your own boss kind of thing.
Is that sort of the typical way to get into like the insurance world? Is that kind of, or is there, could you go to school for it, or is it really like just apply for an insurance job? Or
to my knowledge, man, I mean, I don't know how it's maybe started at first, you know, but like now that there's insurance established, like most people that I know go in there and they just, you know, take the test for it and go in and either work under somebody for a little bit and then kind of learn the ropes and then do their own thing, or they just go for it and, you know, see how it goes. And that's kind of how I went. Like at first I thought about wanting to like work underneath somebody, but then I had this opportunity where I could just, you know, start up and be my own, and you know, I just kind of went for it, man, and it really has panned out.
That's
So
awesome, man.
Awesome.
That's great.
I'm kind of realizing that nowadays you don't really need to like go to college to like get a good job. Like, for example, like for beauty school, you don't have to go to college. It's got its own course.
Yeah.
And I also see that being a real estater,
Yeah,
it's the
real
same
estate
thing. You
agent.
don't have to go to
Yeah.
college for that. I mean, I feel like we're kind of moving away from
Yeah.
college is the only way out, or college is college is a must go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just all part of the generation that we grew up around. You know, a lot of like people before us were, you know, really drilled into their head that you got to go to school, and that like if you don't go to school you're gonna be nobody. But there's so many trades jobs. There's like, you know, like I said, insurance jobs, real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that school isn't a good trade or anything,
for sure.
but like, yeah, you really don't need it sometimes. Like, and you know, I've seen people that went to school for something and now they're doing something
Completely.
like has nothing to do with what they
Yes.
went to school for, and it's like, well, what did I go to school and spend $30,000 for? Like,
We're not saying don't go to college.
yeah,
or,
no, for
like,
sure. But
you
like, it's just I see so many people, and like, because I mean, I went to college too, you know, but then eventually I was like, man, I don't know. Like, I was going to do computer science, and I really did like it, but I felt like I got burned out on it after a while. And then I just, you know, I had already kind of spent time to go in here, and then I wasn't going to do it. I was really liking the sales and, you know, like how it was working and making good money. And I'm like, man, I could just do this. And so now that's just how it panned out, you know. But yeah, going to college is good too. I'm not going to dog on it by any means, but there's definitely opportunities out there without you having to do that.
So that's interesting, because I didn't know you were going for computer science. So if you don't know, I have my computer science degree through Southern. So, but that's really cool to hear. Your computer science degree, and I always think about. I'm glad I went to school, because I personally I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was kind of thinking, it's like, okay, I'll keep going to school, you know. Fortunate for me, I didn't have to pay a whole lot. So I was like, okay, this makes sense for me. I'll keep going to school. I'll get my degree. And if that's really not what I want to do, then it's like, or that's not what I want to do when I get out of school and I want to try something different, I'll try it. and if that doesn't ever work out, I'll always have a plan B to fall on, you know. So I think for me, I'm glad I went to school, because now I have a little bit more confidence about trying something different, because then I'm like, okay, well, I got my computer science degree, I can always fall back on it. Yep. So that I like that I went to school. It also gave me some more time to think about what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I just kind of had to go into the working, you know, because I hadn't, like, honestly, I went to school and I tried to party too hard, and so like a lot of it was my fault, and then after that I was like, man, I lost scholarships, so then I had to really pay out, you know, out of my pocket, and that's when I was like, you know what, I just really got to buckle down and start working. And that's when I just started, I mean, I want to say hustling. I just started working, you know, and grinding, trying to make money. And like ever since then, I got into the sales jobs. And then I just, you know, I saw how quickly you can come up still without having to do school. And so that's why I didn't go back. But like there's times where I'm just like, man, I wonder what would have been different if I had kept at it. But like I said, even now, like I feel like I don't know exactly what I would have done with computer science. Like maybe I would have done programming, because that's really kind of what I wanted to go for. But you know, now I'm not regretting anything. I definitely love what I do, and it's just, you know, just a different outcome from what I had originally decided.
Is there like anything else you do besides being a salesman?
Like previous jobs and stuff like that, or
Well,
like
just in general, like, do you
now?
have like another side job?
You know, like
aside of
right now, not really. I mean, I just work insurance and I stay so busy with that, man, that sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time to really get distracted with anything else. I have considered, you know, since working in the insurance company, I have, you know, some friends that are roofers and like, you know, getting on the contracting side, but not really actually doing more of the job. It's more like the setting up of finding the jobs for them and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Because like you know, I see, this is a whole different topic, but like I see a bunch of like friends and contractors that like don't, because the language barrier, they don't know how to interact with like our adjusters, you know. So when they go in there and we have a claim and they need to come in and bring us an estimate, you know, they bring us like a handwritten kind of estimate, and then you've got this other guy, big company, that's got a computer generated program, has all the specifics of, you know, what they're gonna pay out, how many shingles, and it looks clean, and the adjuster's like, yeah, let's go with this one, boom, signs a check, and they're done.
Damn,
And, you know,
see that.
like, so then they're left out, you know, not because even though they could have done a better job possibly, you know, they're left out because they don't know that. So like I have a friend that does roofing, and like I've been talking to him like, hey man, let's get something going for you, and like that's something that we talked about, but just hasn't been set in stone for various different reasons. But that's been something I've been thinking about, kind of getting into you know, something else. Also, I thought about real estate, just because right now the housing market's definitely booming from what I can see, and like realtors are, you know, something that's needed, especially in this area with, again, bilingual people and Hispanics and needing to talk in Spanish.
So for people who don't know, you're part Hispanic, right?
Man, my mom is from Mexico. My dad is from Honduras. Yeah,
so. You definitely don't look the part sometimes, you know.
No, dude. The first time I saw you, I thought you were freaking white, like, until you spoke in Spanish. I can't remember to who. I was like, yo.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I guess the lighter side came from my dad, because my dad's pretty light skinned too. But and
is he Mexican too?
He's Honduran.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom's the one's from Mexico, and then my dad's from Tegucigalpa, from Honduras.
So there's no white in you, man.
There's no white, bro. I mean, I was born in California, but that's about it. So
you got colored eyes and everything, man. Dude, yeah, no, dude. I remember first meeting you, and I didn't even think you were Hispanic at all.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
and I'm sure that helps sometimes too.
Man, that has been a blessing, which like I feel like is underestimated sometimes, you know, because I've got my little brothers now, and my, you know, after my parents got divorced when I was younger, my mom moved up here and she remarried, and my, you know, little stepbrothers, their dad is American, so I was like, you know, oh, they're gonna learn Spanish, man. They understand it, but they don't speak it, and I'm like, you guys are missing out, man. You don't understand how important that is nowadays.
Yeah, that's something that I'm trying to teach my kid right now. But
It's hard.
yeah.
It's hard even for me because I see it. I tell some of the older guys because they one of my managers came to me the other day. He's like, hey, I don't mean to be like this kind of personal. And I was like, yeah, sure, like what's up, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, what's your primary language? And I tell him I was like, it's English.
Yeah.
Like my primary language is English. You know, and that's all I've ever known. But I see it. Like as the years goes on, I'm kind of losing my Spanish little and
If
little.
you don't use it, man.
Yeah,
you
and I
lose
use it at home all the time, but I still, you know, I use English
Yeah.
way more time,
Yeah.
you know, like 20%,
Yeah.
man, you know? And so I'm like, man, I'm losing it. But no, definitely, I'm going to try to keep it for, even my kids, you know, because it's so valuable now, you know?
Exactly, man.
Well, I mean, with our friend groups, we like switch on and off with Spanish,
Speak-
too,
yeah.
you know. So
And that's the thing. Like, I definitely have like a certain group of friends that we communicate, a lot in Spanish, but ultimately, still most of the time that we're
Yeah.
talking is still in English.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. When I'm going to my mom's house, like, it's all Spanish.
It's all
Like,
Spanish, yeah.
Like, even if I answer her in English, she's talking to me in Spanish. So that's just how that goes. But I mean, even when I grew up, like I remember going to school in California, like it was a bilingual school. Like during half the time of like certain classes, it was all in Spanish. And then after a second half, then I would just have only in English. And so I feel like that's how
nice.
I learned both of the languages, but obviously at home was primary Spanish for sure.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
And with this community is such a big Hispanic community, dude. I'm just like kind of through talking to you, really appreciate the fact that you're trying to help out our community because I've seen you, putting up your sign at the soccer fields and stuff.
Yeah.
And with you helping with that language barrier, because that's huge. I've gone to with my mom, to translate and stuff for like insurance for our car insurance,
Right.
for our house insurance and stuff. But now for me to have some sort of like feeling of peace that my mom can go, it has someone that she can go to that they can
Communicate
and let her know, what
what's I
what's
know what
best
you
for
mean.
her.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've noticed, man, a lot of specifically with like the bilingual clients, like they're really unaware of what kind of coverages they have. Like for instance, say you buy your house for like $50,000, okay, and you go in there and you pay $50,000 cash for your house. They only put $50,000 worth of coverage of insurance because that's what you paid for it.
Yeah.
Well, say something happens and your house blows away. Now you need to rebuild your house. Well, really, with cost of materials, labor, and all that, your house probably is not going to cost you $50,000 to rebuild. So if you only had it covered for $50,000, now you're out X amount of money to out of pocket. And a lot of people don't realize that. And that's one thing that even me, before I started insurance, I didn't know anything about that. I was like you, were like, hey, give me the cheapest price, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
But insurance is not one of those things where you want to be like cheap.
I'm trying to understand why us Hispanic don't really put insurance into our houses.
So part of it, I think, is kind of what I go through. Is part of it. I feel like we don't know.
Yeah.
Like because I truly don't know what my coverages are, or like how much I'm covered for. It's like here's what you're gonna pay a month. Here's your deductible.
Right.
That's really all I truly am worried about, essentially. And so it's just because I don't know, and because I'm like, man, this is an extra payment every month. This is cash that can go probably to some pointless stuff. But it's like, this is cash I could use. And so I think that's part of it, and I'm sure you could probably
vouch for that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, but and that's where that point of communication goes into play. If you are able to understand what it all means, sometimes you don't just see it as like, wow, this is extra money I gotta spend. It's like, I'm paying this much to make sure that if this does happen, I'm covered. Like for instance, like let's say your limits, man. A lot of people don't know what the numbers mean whenever you have like a 25, 50, 25 on your insurance card. You see the numbers, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. And that's the cheapest thing you can get, the state minimums, and you go with that. But like, say you go in and drive and you get in an accident and you hit somebody's truck that's $50,000 and you're riding around with state minimum limits, bro. Your policy will pay you $25,000 for bodily injury, $50,000 for the entire accident, which is that middle number, and then that third number at the end is your property damage limit. So if you go in and run into somebody that's got more than $25,000 in property damage, the difference, I mean, your insurance will pay you at most $25,000, and the rest, who do you think's got to pick it up?
So you got,
bro, dude, you're for our people. I see that. I appreciate that, bro.
I appreciate that,
bro, dude. From now on, dude, if I fucking ever can help you out on like promoting things, like, man, I know a buddy, he's gonna help you out and he's gonna get you on the right insurance company, man. Because I feel like you're doing right for our community. Where we have our speaking barrier or language barrier, and like I was telling Dulio, like, you know, like, I feel like I'm a first generation, you know, American Hispanic type of guy, and like, I mean, I would say, and I feel like I was telling Delio and like some like other people were like, I feel like it's our responsibility to set up like a higher standard for our community.
Absolutely.
To like, in order to grow as a whole community,
and,
you know.
Yeah, man, you got to see, you know, and that's kind of how I am, man. Like, I want to see my people succeed and do good, and that's really why I do it, man. Like, you know, aside from loving what I do, like being able to help, like that's just always been something that's been kind of engraved with me, and just how, like, you know, my family does, you know, we like to help, and that's just what drove me to do what I'm doing. And like I said, I saw the opportunity to be able to help in these communities, and that's what I'm doing, man. That's what I really want to do. And like I said, like now I don't see it as a job. I mean, it is a job, but I thoroughly enjoy what I'm doing and how I can help people. And so
that's amazing, man. I really appreciate that.
Me too.
Yeah, that's great, because our community, we're such a big Hispanic community, man. Like,
and it's only growing too.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I mean, I feel like, you know, back when I was first getting here from California, you know, there was like maybe a handful of Hispanics, you know, and we just kind of were like a tight knit little group. But like now it's like the entire school, you know, you have a big portion of a lot of Hispanic people, and yeah, man, and we got to keep that going, and, you know, keep the Spanish and the community together.
Yeah, I was remembering my dad telling me that when they were first moved down here, it was him and like maybe his two brothers. I was working at Butterball, and like anytime they see a Hispanic person get hired or something, they'll be like, "Hey, way," or "Hey, what's up?" You know, "Hey, what's up? Where you from?" Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's how you gotta stay together, man. Heck, I remember with my parents, that's the same thing, dude. My like when my mom first come up here, that was like her first job, Butterball.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
same
mean, we
here.
all did it.
Exactly.
Dude. We all had
here.
family that worked there, you know, and then they moved to different places. Heck, my mom still works a factory job.
Yeah,
dude. Dude, and that's what's crazy, bro. Like, my parents started at Butterball, and they're going to retire at Butterball.
They're still there. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's just crazy, like, how Butterball, like, gave him the opportunity to succeed in life and whatnot. And, you know, it's just...
There's so many things, you know, we could get into different topics. And, yeah, I just feel like now us, you know, kind of going back to where you were talking about, you feel, like, responsible to kind of, like, keep it going. Like, yeah, dude, we have... like way better opportunity than what our parents ever had, and to just, you know, not do anything with it, like, doesn't sit well with me. So like I want to do something to be able to like leave my kids, you know, either something to do or let them kind of follow in my footsteps and keep doing something else, you know, just to keep our generations going, man.
Yeah,
that's great,
that's
man.
exactly how I feel, man. I like that.
I want to touch back a little bit on the insurance and kind of provide some more knowledge or some more information. So when, let's say, because honestly, I'm gonna go to you right after this and get my car insured. But what are, so not with Farm Bureau or anywhere, where if I were to go to any other place, what are some questions I should be asking, you know, for insurance? We'll start with basic, like car insurance, you know.
Yeah, I mean, just depending on, because this is all more of like a need basis. Like, what do you want this policy to do for you? You know, so if you're needing full coverage for your car, obviously you're gonna need like comp and collision. You know, you want to be covered if you run into something, or if somebody runs into you, or if like you have a tree limb fall on top of your car. Am I gonna be covered? You just want to know what you're gonna be covered for. Your deductibles is one thing. That's kind of a lot of people also have misconception that you got to pay that money. Like, no, with our company, we give you a check and we minus what your deductible is. So that's how that typically works.
Will you kind of explain what a deductible is?
It's just basically like a little chunk of change that comes out. Whenever you get paid out, it's more of like a deposit or something like that. We just take it out as part of your premium and just money that you're gonna get paid out.
So pretty much the higher the deductible is, the better you'll be off, right?
So the higher the deductible, the lower your premium is, so your price goes cheaper. But then at the same time, when you have a loss, that means that's that much less money you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, some people want a really low deductible, but then they're also going to be paying a little bit of a higher premium for it.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so if you get, you get into some accident or something, and it's less than the deductible, then you won't. A lot of times you won't get
you basically
covered.
At that point. I mean,
or like
not that you don't get covered, but in a sense, yeah. Because here's the thing. I mean, if you have let's say $1,000 deductible and you get into a little tiny like scuff, say your door opens up and it dings your next person's car.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if someone did that.
If you go in there and get it fixed and it's only like $500 to fix it, you're like, okay, well I have $1,000 deductible, so I mean you're not gonna pay $1,000 deductible to get $500 back, because you're not gonna get any money back. So they're like, well, we close the claim and it's done, so you gotta pay it out of pocket. So those are things that you kind of gotta keep in mind.
So what's the right amount?
Man, that's a tough question, because it's really like, what are you willing to pay out of pocket? That's the better question. What's going to fit your budget? Because some people can pay, $1,000 deductible out of pocket and they're okay with having just a lower premium. And other people are like, well, I don't know if I can come up with $1,000 right up front. So let's just set up a lower deductible, But then that's what I'm saying. You kind of got to have a happy medium, because if you get a lower deductible, you're gonna pay for a little bit more monthly too.
So what kind of deductible did you put on your truck?
On my personal truck, I went ahead and got the lowest deductibles I could get. I'm like, you know what? If something does happen, I don't want to worry about having to dish any money out of my pocket. I'm just gonna pay $100.
Okay. Let me throw another scenario at you. Let's say I'm pretty confident in my driving. I haven't had a wreck in all whatever 6 years of me driving.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll pay a higher deductible, so that will essentially bring my monthly payments down, and that's totally okay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you also got to look at other things like for instance, say your car gets totaled, then you go look at the cash value of the car. So then that's all gonna take into consideration too. Say, and just an example, say you drive like a beater up car or something like that, and you put full coverage on it and it's $1,000 deductible. Well, they go in there and say, well, this car is worth $3,000 now, so you have $1,000 deductible, so here we're gonna only give you $2,000. Like, dang, man. So you got to think about stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So just little things like that. But if you're cool with that, or that's what you're wanting to get for now, and it's all your preference. But being able to explain that to somebody and them understand it, rather than you just looking for the lowest price, is the key difference there. You know what I'm saying? If you understand that that's how it's going to work at that point in time and you're okay with it, then you're going to be okay come claim time. But if you had a different expectation and then it goes down differently, you're like, oh, dang.
And there's quite a few cases where that happens, right?
Absolutely, man. There's that's why I try to be as transparent as I can to let them know, because I mean there are things where, like, say we miss something and we don't see eye to eye with the client, like they can file a complaint on you, and then you have like an errors and omission, and then you get like it's your fault and you gotta like pay for it basically, or we have these policies that will like basically pay for us messing up. Luckily I haven't had to use that, knock on wood. You know, but like, you know, you really got to look out for yourself and be very thorough. Like that's one thing you always have to, like, if you talk to somebody and they told you, hey, I don't want this shed over here insured, okay, I'm gonna put that, you don't want this insured, go ahead and initial it here for me, just that way if something does happen, then they're like, well, what about the shed?
Yeah.
Like, nah, actually, you signed right here and told me you didn't want this shed covered. You know, just to cover yourself. But
fuck you.
Bro, but people be taking advantage of that too.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
like, you just gotta cover yourself too. So, but like I said, just being able to like explain to people how it all works and cover them properly, man, goes a long way for sure.
Yeah, and it might just be me, but I definitely would have a better understanding now of, like, you know, of when I go to insure some other property or asset that I own, you know, on the questions of what to ask and everything. Because really, insurance is, you know, it's almost, it's like a safety net, you know.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like for your anything. So thank you for that. Also, I want to touch a little bit about your singing, man. I've seen a couple I've seen a couple clips on Instagram of you singing.
Yeah, man, I've kind of been into the music for a long time, and just every now and then I just have this app where I get on there and I'll do like some karaoke songs and all kinds of music. But yeah, I'll go in there and I'll record a song or two, just play a little snippet. And then now my son, you know, he gets really into it too. So we'll, you know, any song that he likes, he'll be like, "Daddy, let's go record this song." You know, so we'll go in there and record a song and throw it on there. And yeah, man, it's just something that's been really heavy with my family. We were always really musically inclined, and so like growing up, I played the violin. And then, yeah, I played the violin when I was younger. You should have brought your violin. You should have played something. That's one thing that after I moved from California, coming up to Missouri, I really did want to keep playing the violin, but Missouri didn't have like an orchestra, so I couldn't keep playing the violin. Yeah. So this is one of the embarrassing things I rarely ever talk about, but like, so then I came up here and my grandparents wanted me to continue in music, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep doing music. I wanted to do like the drums, and they're like, no, you're gonna play something else. So they
fucking trying.
Lo and behold, one of these guys they bought me a flute, bro. Oh my god, dude.
Dude, I was gonna say the flute too, man.
Oh my god, bro. So I'm in like 7th grade playing the flute. I at that point I was like, man, I hate my life, bro. Why am I doing this shit? But
you're up there.
Pretty much, bro. But then,
Kevin!
But then eventually I was like, man, I am really sitting next to like the hottest chicks in band this entire time. I took the positive out of it. I was that's all I could do, you know?
Yes, you got to.
Yeah, dude. And then other than that, man, I've just been playing like guitar. When I got into high school, that's something I really wanted to do. So I just kind of sat down and like I would listen to songs and try to just figure them out and play them. I would look up like the chords and, you know, just put them together and then eventually play. And then, yeah, I would just start singing, and it was just something that I really enjoyed doing. And so, yeah, I'll do that occasionally.
Do you write songs, or do you do? Because I've seen you do covers, but I'm not sure if I've seen.
You know, that's one thing that's been difficult for me. I mean, I can write stuff, but being able to like, at least me personally, I've had trouble trying to throw it together into a song, or I'm very self-conscious about it. So there's a lot of times where I'll put something together and it might sound okay, but then I'm like, nah, I don't like it, and I get rid of it. You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna do nothing with it. But I mean, yeah, I've wrote like maybe like I do have one original song from like when I was in college.
Yeah.
And it was a long time ago, but you know, it's been a long time. Other than that, it's literally just me passing the time trying to sing covers of stuff, and it's just a fun pastime.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's something that I do like to do too.
And you can definitely. I've seen your son be in your videos too, man.
That helps. That helps.
That
out
duet
a lot,
action
you know?
going on.
Yeah, just look me up on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yeah, and then you'll see it.
Yeah,
I'll show him all. Yeah,
you're carrying your son there.
Yeah, he'll go in there and like you know, he'll pick the song that he wants to sing, and then he'll get his little headset going.
Yeah.
We got the little condenser mic, and then so we'll go on there and sing some songs. And yeah, dude, hopefully he enjoys doing it later on as he's older, and can kind of keep it going. He likes the piano, so he'll go on there and just kind of play the keys a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a type of genre
Yeah, like music that specific. Honestly, I like a lot of like R&B. I listen to like Chris Brown and like older stuff. I say older, but like older to me, like Marcus Houston, Omarion, just different kinds of artists that I could do. And then I've been trying to kind of expand my genres, because like I didn't really listen to country before. Like I came up here, I listened to like Spanish music or just like that hip hop. But then like as I listened to country more, I hate to admit it, but I kind of started liking it, So now I'm expanding some of my genres, and so I'll do some country songs. And my wife, that's all she listens to. So
it's country.
No, something that I'm like really tapping into is a little bit of jazz.
Oh, really?
Jazz, yep. That's something I'm trying to tap into.
I am not really too much into jazz, but my little brother Joey, he does like a lot of like the blues and the guitar and like the rhythm kind of stuff.
Bass.
The bass, and so like he's really into that stuff.
Yeah, like whenever I listen to like any kind of music, I really listen through the beat, through the drums. Like I really like listening to those type of things. And like in jazz, you can really listen to all the beats, all the notes,
everything that goes into play. Yeah, man. That's one thing that I like about music is that there's so much that sometimes people don't like. I'm not like that kind of person that like I'll listen to a song and I'll listen to like the backups that they added, and like this hi-hat over here with the drums that they added. Like I listen to little things like that and I try to pick up, but that's just in me, I guess, something that I've always done and been with the music. But other than that, man, I like to sing every now and then. I'm trying to think of other things or other genres that I would do, but I mean, I'll still sing some Spanish songs every now and then.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I've tried. So I played actually the clarinet. A little Squidward action here and there. I played the clarinet here. Like in middle school, I believe. I feel like I was pressured to. I feel like the teacher. I feel like the teacher's like, hey, you got to do band and stuff. And then I was like, and then they sent me home with this paper. It's like, get an instrument. I was like, all right, mom, yeah.
Dude, I feel like the teachers had because they made us go test on what type of instrument we had. We had to play.
Yeah.
So but then they like started dividing like people when they can leave class to go to fucking band practice and whatnot. But dude, funny thing is that me and I got a buddy named George, we would get out of class, but we would never go to the band. Dude, we would go to the bathroom, just chill the whole time. Like, because band practice was like 45 minutes, I think. Yeah. So like, and then after that, like, as soon as we hear all the people walking out, we just walk out of the fucking bathroom, we leave with them. And we did that for 3 weeks until we finally got caught. And the reason we got caught is because Ronald started doing it with us, but Ronald's teacher was on his ass. like she had to call the fucking band teacher to make sure that
he was going to the band practice.
That motherfucker got us fucking caught.
That's funny. Yeah, I started with the clarinet, and then I was like, it was just, me, like, I don't know, like 14, 15-year-old me, or it was actually like 12, 13-year-old me, and I was shit. I'm going to junior high. I ain't trying to be, the clarinet on the band. On the band. Ain't nothing wrong with the band squad or nothing. But I was like, man, I ain't trying to be.
I had that same mentality though.
I bet even with the flu.
Man, no, it was the worst, dude. Like I said, like, and I had to stick with it because like my grandparents got me this really nice one, so I'm like, man, I really gotta do it now, you know.
Yeah.
Man, they really pressured me on that. I was doing the whole marching band and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Bro. It was, yeah. Then I got to high school and I'm like, all right, I did this shit for 3 years already. Like, I think that's long enough, so I got out of it. And it was cool, I guess, while it lasted, but I don't miss it that much.
Well, Kevin, thank you, man.
Dude, thank you guys.
I appreciate you
pleasure.
so much, man. Just what you're doing, not only helping our community, man, but like, you know, just you're such a genuine dude. And ever since I've known you, you've been a genuine dude, man.
Appreciate that.
And I appreciate you, and I wish you nothing but the best, man. And
As
I'll
well,
be talking to you
as well.
soon about insurance for
Heck
sure.
yeah, heck yeah.
I would be recommending you to everyone that tells me what kind of,
Appreciate that.
you know.
You want to shout out your agency, where you at?
Yeah.
Where people can reach you?
Kevin Perdomo with Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. Our office is in Joplin, Missouri, on 705 Illinois Avenue, Suite 25, behind the DMV. If you guys got any questions, let me know. I got some business cards and stuff like that too.
For sure.
And then, yeah, man, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know.
Awesome. You heard it here.
There we have it.
And I appreciate you guys letting me come on the show, man. I really do. This was, something I was excited for. As soon as Zulio told me, like, hey, man, you trying to get on the podcast? I'm like, hell yeah, let me get on that. That's awesome, man. So I really do appreciate the opportunity.
Not a problem, man. Appreciate you having here.
Thank you, guys.
All right. See ya.